Hello, our most valued student. My name is Confident. Welcome to our Mathematics N3, where I look at the suggested solutions for the Mathematics N3 paper that was written in November 2020. So this is a Department of Higher Education and Training exam. It is a national exam and it's Mathematics N3. And as you can see, this paper was written on the 16th of November 2020. X paper means it was written in the morning. It was a 3-hour paper, and it says this question paper consists of 6 pages and 2 formula sheet. So in this particular lesson, I'm going to look at some suggested solutions for this particular question, which you can also use as you prepare for your final exams. Now let us look at a few some exam instructions which students usually ignore, but they are very important. As I said, this is a Department of Higher Education and Training. Usually we shorten it as DHET, and it is a national certificate. It's Mathematics N3. The time is 3 hours, and the mark allocation of this paper is out of 100% or 100 marks actually. So which means the total mark allocation is 100 marks. So a few instructions here that you need to be careful of. Some of them, they are general, and as a candidate you always come across some of these instructions. For example, it says you need to answer all the questions. You need to read all the questions carefully. This is standard. And then it says number the answers according to the numbering system used in the question paper. This is very important. Do not come with your own numbering system, but just follow the numbering system used in the paper. Even if you are giving it in point form, you don't come up with your extra numbering system for those points. And then it says answer questions may be answered in any order, but keep the subsections together. This is important because it allows you, if you are comfortable with starting with question number 4, you must feel free to start with question number 4. But the moment you start with question number 4, for example, make sure that you answer every question involving question number 4, so that you do not mix the subsections and cause some confusions to the markers. And then it says you must show all your calculations and intermediate steps. So don't ignore this part, because remember, in mathematics we are not only interested in the final answer, but in how you went about towards the answer. And then it says all graph work must be done in the answer book. So there is no graph paper that you are given in Mathematics N3. They do that in N1 and N2 only. And then it says all final answers must be accurately approximated to 3 decimal places. So whenever you're working with an answer that is needing rounding off, remember you must leave it to 3 decimal places. They are not going to state that, but if you don't follow this rule, you'll be penalized some marks. And then diagrams are not drawn to scale. And then the last one says you need to write neatly and legible, meaning make sure that your handwriting is clearly seen for the markers not to struggle while they are marking your paper. So let us look now at this particular question. We are starting with question 1, and we are starting with question 1.1. Now the first question in this, it was out of 3 marks, and it said what must be added to 2x cubed minus x plus 1 so that 2x minus 3 is a factor of the given expression. So they need to know what must be added to this particular 2x minus x plus 1. So if I can underline a few things there. So we want to know what must be added here, so that they are saying this is a factor. Now let us look at a few things that you need to know on this part. The first thing is the factor theorem. Now the factor theorem says if 2x minus 3 is a factor, therefore what you need to do, you have to say 2x minus 3, you must equate it to 0. So when you do that, you have to solve for x, so that the 3 jumps that side, and you have got 2x is equal to 3. Then you divide by 2 on both sides, and now your x is equal to 3 over 2. So that's the first part that you have for your x as being 3 over 2. Now then they are saying you are given this expression. Let's call this expression f of x. So your f of x is 2x cubed minus x plus 1, which is what you're given. So now they are saying what must be added to that so that 2x minus 3 is a factor. So for it to be a factor, remember the factor theorem. If you are going to say f of 2 over 3, and remember this is where we got our 2 over 3 from. So if you say f of 2 over 3, it must give us a 0, meaning there is no remainder. So this is what proves that it is a factor. So this expression, it proves that it is a factor. Where what is a factor? It means 2 over 3 is a factor if it gives us a 0. So now they are asking what must be added. So now if you remember the general form of this f of x, the general form is f of x is equal to ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx and plus d. So this is actually the general form, but in this particular case we are given our f of x being equal to, if I can match it, it will be 2x cubed, and then I've got minus x, and then I've got plus 1. So you can see that in the center here there is no x squared part, which I can say let it be as it is plus bx squared. So that is what is missing in that. So now if I can do that for 2 over 3 to become a factor, for this to become a factor, it means I can then come with an equation which says, if I can continue here, I can then come with an equation which says f of 3 over 2 is equal to 2, where there is a cube there, I put a 3 over 2 cubed plus b, and then I put again a 3 over 2, this time is squared, and minus my x is 3 over 2 plus 1. Remember, if it is a factor, this must give me a 0. I'm getting it again from this particular statement that I said. Now you need to simplify that, and when you're simplifying that, you can take a calculator. You will have, just simplify the numbers as 2 over 3. This is cubed actually. If you can get the answer, is 27 over 4. And it's plus 3 over 2 squared, it will be 9 over 4b, and then it's minus 3 over 2 plus 1 is equal to, in this case it is equal to 0. And then what you need to do is for you to solve for b. So actually here I don't need an equal sign, now I need an arrow. So you take all the numbers to this to the equal sign. So you'll have 9 over 4b is equal to, the 27 over 4 will become negative 27 over 4, and then the negative 3 over 2 will become positive 3 over 2, and then it's negative 1, and 9 over 4b is equal to, now simplify quickly that with the calculator. So it's negative 27 over 4 plus 3 over 2, and it's minus 1, and you can see that I'm getting minus 25 over 4. So now if I can solve then for b there, can multiply this by 4/1, and what you do on the left you must also do on the right. So you can see that then I will be simple. This is algebra, so I'll have 9b is equal to -25, and divide by 9. I'm having now my b, which means b is equal to -25/9. So this is the value of b. So if I can take it back, remember I was trying to solve for this b here, which means now where there is a plus bx squared, I'm able now to write, can write it in this with a different marker. It will be f of x will be equal to, and then it will be 2x cubed, and it's minus 25. I can just give it space. It's minus 25/9 x squared, and then it's minus x plus 1. So now the question was, what must be added to this 2x cubed minus x plus 1? So you can see that what we added in here, we added minus 25/9x squared. So this is what need to be added so that 3/2 will become a factor. So if you can now check where there is this particular, just to prove it, where there is 3/2, if you can go and substitute it there, and substitute it there, and substitute it there, it must give us in this case a 0. So let us test that. I'll be having 2 times 3/2, and then it is cubed, minus 25/9, and that I'm multiplying by 3/2 squared. Remember, this is my x, so now it's x squared, and then minus, again, bracket, 3/2, and then it's plus 1. So if it is a factor, this must give me a 0, as I said. So you can see that by adding minus 25/9x squared, it has managed to give me a 0. So before that, if I remove that part of, if I delete this, if I delete that and take it to the original, it was like this. If I say equal to, you can see that it was giving me 25/4. Now with 25/4, it means it was a remainder, and I needed to add minus 25/9x squared so that it can give me a 0. So this is what need to be added. In this case, this is the answer that you needed there. So you are able to get 3 marks from that. Let us move on. Now we're looking at question 1.2, and question 1.2, if you can look at it, it is 5 marks. From here you can see it is 5 marks, and it says solve by completing a square if 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. If I can just make it closer. So we are completing a square in this case. So to complete a square, this is what we are given. So we need to complete a square in that. So what I have is 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 is equal to a 0. And whenever you're completing a square, the first thing that you need to check on is this particular number, and this particular number, which is actually, it is this number here that you are more sensitive to, and we call that number the coefficient of x squared. So this coefficient of x squared needs to become a 1. So in this case it is a 2, which means you need to deal with that. And then secondly, you also have to consider this number, and this number must jump the equal sign. So let us start by jumping that number on the other side, which is minus 5. So you'll have 2x squared minus 3x is equal to, from negative it will become positive 5. That is the first step. The second step is to identify that you have a number which is the coefficient of x squared. That number is a 2, so you need to get rid of that 2. But to get rid of that 2, we have to divide by 2, and when you divide by 2, you must ensure that you distribute that 2 all over. In other words, you have to divide by 2 in each and every item, because there is whenever there is a negative sign or a positive sign, you must divide by 2, and when there's an equal sign also on that side, you must divide by 2. So when you do that, it will make now the coefficient of x squared to become a 1. So you'll have now x squared minus 3 over 2x is equal to 5 over 2. So in other ways, we have managed to, in a way, arrange it in the way that makes it to now apply the rules for completing a square. So how do you complete a square in this case? What you do, you are going to say x squared, and then you write your negative 3 over 2x, and then you say plus, best thing is to put a bracket here, and then you are going to say half the coefficient of x. So you have got an x here, and this is the coefficient of x, and the coefficient of x is that number with the sign. So half times the coefficient of x, which is negative 3 over 2, that is the coefficient of x. So it is half times that particular number, which is minus 3 over 2, and then after that you square that. So it's half times the coefficient of x, and then after that everything you square. Now this is what they mean by completing a square, but remember what you do on the left, you also need to do on the right. So you'll have 5 over 2, and then you'll have also plus, you do the same thing with it, you said 1 over 2 times minus 3 over 2 squared. So basically that is what they mean when they say you need to complete a square. Now when you have done that, you need to simplify. How do you simplify? You are going to take your x, in this case, your x squared minus 3 over 2x, and then you simplify what is inside the brackets, which you're going to have, you don't have to put the square, but what is inside the bracket, and inside the bracket you have 1 over 2 times, and then you've got negative 3 over 2. So that is what is inside the bracket. You can see that is giving you minus 3 over 4. So we are going to say plus, I can just still have it as, in this case, it's minus 3 over 4. Remember, you don't have to remove that square, you leave it like that, is equal to. However, on the right hand side of the equal sign, you don't need to, you can add everything as it is, which is your 5 over 2, and then you need just to find the final answer there. So you are able to actually get, or to multiply it with the square. So it's negative 3 over 2, and then I'm going to square that. So on the right hand side, you must simplify it. It is 49 over 16. So that is what you're having. And then when you have done that, I hope the video that you just watched was of benefit to you. And as I said, if you benefited from the video, you can press the like button or you can leave us a comment below. And if you want to be notified of these videos, you can always subscribe to our channel. Now, if you want the full curriculum of this mathematics, if you're studying for mathematics N1, N2 or N3 and you want the textbook as well as the videos, we have a full curriculum of the mathematics N1, N2, N3 as well as the accompanying videos. We also have videos of the previous question papers, the latest papers that were written in video form. These question papers can assist you as you prepare for your exams. We also have PDF version of the previous question papers that were written since 2014 until now. And if you want them, you can check all the information from our website, and trust me, these will become very handy to you. We sell them at a very discounted prices, and it is worth the try. Thank you.